It is 6:04 p.m. and I'm calling the meeting to order. The minutes of the meetings, everybody has seen the minutes?
I would make a motion to accept the December 12th, 2023 meeting minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. The subcommittee minutes have only been read by the subcommittee, since we have 3 members of the 4-member subcommittee here.
Well, I would make a motion that we accept the...
Actually, it's 3 members that have been doing those meetings, so we may as well.
I would make a motion that we accept the subcommittee minutes, meeting minutes of March 6th, 2023.
As written.
As written.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Spectrum report. You missed this part because we talked. We got here a little early. John is no longer with us, and I mean he's no longer. I don't mean he's deceased. I mean he's no longer employed by charter. Okay. No replacement has been announced.
Oh, well, there is a replacement. Jennifer has been announced as his replacement.
She has?
Yes, that's what the letter said, didn't it?
It just said in terms of reference to contact.
To contact her, so we do have a contact.
We have a contact.
Yeah. Jennifer Wells.
Young.
Young.
Jennifer R. Young.
What is it, Young?
Young, yeah. Nobody has been appointed yet, and on such short notice, she was not able to find anyone who was available to come to the meeting.
Oh.
Okay.
So I would like to make a motion, or at least thank John for his service to the towns. It wasn't always smooth, but I think in the end, when we preserved, we were able to have him help us resolve issues.
Okay, you draft it, and we'll vote on it right now. We'll accept whatever you put in it.
Oh, then I'll make a motion. We send him a letter. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'll write it and send it
I'd
to
like to
Linda.
add that I did notice that they had the zip code wrong for Great Barrington again on the bills, and I contacted John, and he fixed it again.
Yep.
So he was responsive to our requests.
Okay.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Linda, I'll go ahead and send that to you for signature as our chair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I will sign it as on behalf of the committee and all that. Okay, so we don't have the report. I don't know that there is a lot to be said in this report, other than what I would expect, that they have been trying to stay ahead of the weather that we've been having in terms of making sure that we have service, period, as well as they can do, and that that's all I can say on their behalf at this point.
Well, maybe Jennifer's name and contact information. Have you guys gotten it?
I have not.
So maybe it can be sent to every member.
Well, I have not sure that that's the case.
Well, I thought
she wants it.
the
I
note-
got the information.
Yes, I know, but I thought it said in case of, in the meantime, contact Jennifer for issues.
For any inquiries, please contact Jennifer
Inquiries.
Young. Yeah.
Well, I'm contacting her if
Yeah.
we have a problem in Sheffield.
I'll call
Okay,
Linda.
so, yeah.
Okay. CTSB report.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Identify yourself for those who don't know you.
Okay, Richard Frederick, Executive Director for Community Television for the Southern Berkshires.
Thank
I have my report this evening. I have 2 items, legislative update and programming, our latest programming. So I know I've been talking about legislation for the past few meetings. And tonight I've got good news from our colleagues in Maine, where LD 1967 has been passed into law. This bill specifies corporate obligations to communities under local video franchising, particularly that companies need to have franchises, that fees be paid for rent on a quarterly basis, that companies be penalized if they're late in paying rent, that local PEG channels have to be carried on apps and cable services run by those corporations, and that companies have to pay for their legal obligations to provide high definition and electronic program guide services.
Yes.
Whoa.
This is a major bipartisan win for Maine communities, especially after earlier legal victories that stated that corporations must provide HD and electronic program guides for consumers were ignored by the cable industry. LD 1967 is the cost of corporations ignoring the law, much like they have done with CTSB and our request for HD, closed captioning, program guides, and not being placed on apps. The law is not a streaming tax. This was a diversion of anti-tax lobbyists who were against the bill. The bill strengthens community rights and outlines obligations for corporations moving forward. So with that said, that's the first state to pass legislation. Where does the Massachusetts legislation stand? Bill S34 H74, an act to modernize funding for community media programming, did not make it to the floor for a vote, but is being held for further review, which is good because instead of just saying no and killing it, it's being looked at, and I believe they want to rewrite some things in there, such as who receives what percentages of monies. So we're hoping that Massachusetts maybe can adopt a law similar to what Maine has done. That's what we're going to be hopeful for.
So Rich, just so I can be clear, who was that adopted that?
Maine.
Maine, state of Maine.
They're always ahead. And at the moment, the Massachusetts bill is in limbo.
It's being held for further review.
Yeah, okay.
But a different bill, a different bill.
Right, so there's nothing going on in Mass right now that
No.
would affect our contract that we just finished negotiating?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, the Mass bill is a tax bill.
Right, but it may be rewritten
You're right.
something similar to like this Maine bill. Yeah,
Right.
So as Massachusetts continues to work on S34, we hope the newly passed legislation in Maine can be duplicated in Massachusetts, closing loopholes on the cable industry and making them pay for use of town infrastructure and lines on public and private lands. Time is of the essence, as over the next couple of years we expect more and more people to begin streaming their cable packages, cutting CTSB off from critical funding needed to continue our work. If anyone from the public is interested in preserving community television, you can sign and mail a pre-written letter to your elected officials asking them to move this bill forward. Letters are available at CTSB, or you can email me, rich@ctsbtv.org, and I can email you a letter out to help with our support. And then our franchise checks for 2023 should be received this week or next week. And as soon as they're received, I will send out an email with the total amounts so everyone knows. Okay, any questions on the legislation at all? Okay, programming. PCTV and CTSB have partnered up to share live coverage of the Massachusetts Boys High School Basketball Championship game. CTSB aired the game live on cable, on the web, and streaming to all the families in South County interested in watching the game. Unfortunately for Monument, Pittsfield won the game. 2 new monthly programs are coming to CTSB. The first is Harnessing Infinity by Howard Lieberman. Howard Lieberman writes many articles for The Edge. Maybe you've read some of Howard's work in The Edge. Very interesting. Howard has worked for Silicon Valley for many years, and he's also the author of many books, including Involuntary Innovator. Howard's show will focus on innovation, music, and insight. The next new program that we will be helping with is El Viaje, which will be produced by 3 members of the Latino community. Who've been producing podcasts in Spanish locally, and they now would like to present their work on CTSB, both in English and Spanish. And they're also expressing interest in helping to train other members of their community who do not speak English to learn how to run cameras and produce media. Two very new exciting shows coming to CTSB. Also, CTSB for a long time has had what's called the CTSB 100 Plus Club. This is an award, CTSB awards to program producers who have produced 100 or more episodes of their show. And our 9th member, Sherry Steiner, has been added to the 100 Plus Club for having produced over 100 episodes of solo creatives, solo entrepreneurs, and improvisations. So congratulations to Sherry for her great work. And speaking of awards, the Alliance for Community Media Awards are coming up soon. And at CTSB, we have a whole wall of hometown media awards. And this year we have submissions from the Berkshire CIP interns, Sherry Steiner, Shane Bruno, and our member Joanne Spees. So best of luck to them. And then if you sign up to receive What's New at CTSB newsletter each month, you can see all the many new programs that were created just in February alone, including local sports, music, high school programs, cooking, special events at the Mahawi, presentation about composting from the Lee Library, and every government and school board meeting from all 5 towns, just to name a few. So I'm very proud, we're all very proud of the diverse selection of media that CTSB currently offers and will continue to offer. So that's my report for tonight.
Okay, I'm going to add to that, membership, if you'd like to become a member, just contact, actually, you can just go right into CTSB,
Stop
and
by your
anybody's
car.
behind the desk will be able to help you.
Right.
And the hours are like what?
9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Okay. And since we don't have a public Q&A, but I'm going to ask if anybody has any questions here.
I wanted to thank CTSB for filming our recent event on the Community Preservation Act. I want to get a disc from you so we can maybe put it at our library, but it was on a Sunday, so that goes up and beyond, so
Great.
thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
And as always, CTSB needs volunteers. So if you want something to volunteer at, that you might learn something and you definitely will enjoy, CTSB is the answer. Okay.
Anita?
Can you sign up online for membership?
You can, yes.
Okay.
The other important distinction is that you don't have to have cable TV to see CTSB programming. You can go online.
So you can stream all 3 channels live on our website,
Right,
ctsbtv.org.
right.
Also, all the programming.
Lots of great programming.
Okay. Anything further for CTSB? Thank
Great,
you.
Thank you. I'll
Thanks,
keep you up to
John.
date on the legislation and all the great things that we do.
Yes. I think there's some federal legislation in the cooker too.
There is. It's not moving anywhere yet, but as soon as something happens, I'll have an update.
I think Maine may have kicked it a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. License renewal. Okay, we have, each of us here has a hard copy of the draft of the renewal document. I think I have yours here. You're Stockbridge, right?
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Now, it is almost complete because there have been some additions that happened after this effectively went to press, so to speak. There's the press.
No, everything that is this is totally 100% up to date. Every addition from the lawyers is in here. This can go for signature as soon as the committee accepts it.
That's what I was going to say. The additions in here are not going to change anything in terms of substance. It's additions, and they won't change any of the substance that's in here. So we can go ahead and get these to the individual towns, to the town managers / town administrators. to put them on the agenda for the selectmen to vote on. And I do believe they have to accept at town meeting, okay?
No. So let me just, if I may, go over this. There is a transmission letter that Linda will get to you that I had hoped would be here tonight so we could really wrap this up. The first thing this committee needs to do is accept this final agreement as the agreement done, okay?
Okay.
The major changes since we had our public hearing at the December meeting was that the two lawyers got together and made a couple of changes, okay? They both agree on them, and we all agree on them. The major change that is, in my view, from what we spoke of, particularly Dennis, at the December public hearing, is that it is no longer acceptable for the cable TV company to send individual towns' money directly to the Access Corporation. It has to come to the town, and then it has to be voted on a warrant, and there's two ways to do it, and those are spelled out in the cover letter that Linda will get to you. So that is recent financial legislation at the state level. So it will have to be, that funding will have to be allocated from the town, where it will be reserved in a special fund, to the Access Corporation. Your town manager or administrator will know what's going on, and again, it's very clearly spelled out in the transmission letter. Okay, so that is the only major change, and that was required by law. We had no way of knowing about that, so that's what's in here. Mm-hmm. So everything else is the same, all the good accomplishments, etc. So I would make a motion that this Five-Town Cable Advisory Committee adopt the contract as presented.
I would like to just add to that, before we put it to a vote, that there are a few other tweaks in here that are enhancement of what we had. If you knew the other agreement, you'd know. But let's put it this way: what we have is an extension of the agreement, the previous agreement, with enhancements. And we fought very hard for a lot of these. And it's 2 years of hard work there.
I would add that the enhancements were discussed at the public meeting, but this, to me, is more than just a rewrite of the existing contract. This is a brand-new contract that was brought forward by the negotiating committee. It was a combination of a lot of good features from other contracts around the state. Dennis, is our point person on.
I think it'd be worthwhile
things.
to read just the short section. Would you?
Oh, yeah, this is the transmission letter. Yeah,
I think it's very succinct and very well written. It says the adoption of this agreement is the culmination of the ascertainment process, beginning with the CAC, the Cable Advisory Committee's official ascertainment document issued in September 1st, 2022, and mailed to you shortly thereafter. Direct CAC negotiations with Spectrum Charter began in January 18th, 2023. So that's a long time ago, and continued through November 29th. Total of 18 negotiation sessions that were roughly 2 or 2.5 hours apiece, with 4 lawyers from Charter and this subcommittee. Shortly after the holidays, the agreement was given to William Hewitt. He's a lawyer that works for KP Law, which is the law firm that the towns use for review and finalization of any identified issues directly with Spectrum. As you know, the ascertainment process and the resulting document involved extensive public input, with over 464 survey participants providing hundreds of comments and concerns and rating every aspect of the cable TV experience, including billing, service, programming, cost, and resolution of complaints. And this committee really took that information to heart, and that's part of what we struggled with, I think. Given this input and the statewide search of cable TV license agreements signed by all major service providers in Massachusetts, the appointed five-town CAC negotiating subcommittee presented its own uniquely developed renewal license agreement to Spectrum. Wasn't there a CAN license agreement that they handed to another, that they hand to other towns? It was one that we had homegrown. Based upon what we thought were the best aspects of different agreements around the state. The renewal license agreement became the agreement from which all terms and conditions and enclosed agreement were negotiated. And this is a kind of a summation of what Renee included in the letter. It said that the subcommittee was able to strengthen the agreement by the addition of several items which were not included in the previous agreement with Time Warner Cable, the previous cable company. Specifically, the agreement includes a process to convert PEG access channels to high definition. Didn't exist before. It's going to come at an additional cost, but we have a process. A performance bond, which provides a little teeth to the agreement, a determination of breach, a statement of violations that are a material breach, liquidated damages, and a quarterly license fee payments. In addition, a stronger statement and process for customer complaints and resolution, including increased accuracy and in-state reporting. It was something that we knew 2 years ago that the numbers just weren't accurate. Mm-hmm. And we're able to work through the state, DTC, and able to get that process strengthened. A higher amount of licensee insurance coverage, stronger wording and clarity in almost all sections of the agreement, and then a PEG capital grant of $212,000. It sounds like a lot of money, but this is not going to increase a cable bill 1 cent. Mm-hmm. So I think that that for the people that in the survey complained that they thought they were paying more money, our subcommittee did not cause any increase in the cable bill moving forward. So it's the same as what it was before. And
then there's one optional section that when your town administrator gets the cover letter, there's a town use of the licensees or Spectrum charter poles and conduits. And that's an optional section. And if your town administrator or manager, select board, wants that put in, we will add it to the contract. I know when we were negotiating, Sheffield didn't want it. We don't put anything on their poles. So we just made it an optional. So when your town manager gets this letter. So Linda, what are you going to do? Are we taking these with us? And what's the deal? How are we going to put these two pieces together?
Well, these that we have here now are, because at the time that Renee printed them, did not have the very final things that came in late this afternoon.
I got the final stuff, and we've known about it they were finished today. So how do we get the letter and this together?
Would you feel comfortable voting on?
Let me just say, we will go through and make sure that everything is included in what we send to the towns. And we'll send them to you guys, and we will also send them to the towns and ask that they follow the instructions that we're giving them. But if there's any comments or anything that they want to make prior to signing, we are open to that. And one other thing, and that is that these agreements are pretty much what we will have to live with for 10 years.
So I made a motion.
And to consider that, and we will also have, I wrote some notes here for myself, but I didn't take them with me.
So this agreement is finished?
The agreement is finished. We will send a more finished copy, let's put it that way, with the cover as it would appear in the thing, in the package. And we would also, with what we call a letter of transmission that, to sign off that it has been received and acknowledged, and that the towns must put it to a vote, and they must follow the
So
instructions.
the towns do not
It's not
have to
valid
vote on it,
with-
Linda.
Pardon me?
The towns do not have to vote on it. Could I just say how this process proceeds, because I'm not sure that you completely understand it. The towns do not vote on this contract.
No, the boards of selectmen
The
voted.
selectmen vote
Yes,
on
that's the
it.
towns that voting on it. It's the
No,
selectmen.
towns voting is town meeting, selectmen voting is
You're out of
selectmen
order.
meetings.
You're out of order.
I'm sorry, I'm correct.
You may be correct, but you're interrupting me.
Fine,
You're out
go
of
ahead.
order, okay? That the select boards will have to vote them, and also they will have to put at their next town meeting on the warrant to be accepted.
That's wrong. I'm sorry, it does not go to town meeting.
Monies do.
All right, I'd like to just speak when you finish.
I don't think so. I think you're out of order for now. I think, I'm chair and...
I know you are, you
and
just
I'm-
don't know what you're talking
Okay,
about.
fine. The towns, they have to be accepted by the towns. They will then, upon acceptance, we will inform inform Charter / Spectrum, that's where I always get myself in trouble, Charter Spectrum, that it is fully accepted and signed, and they will have to sign them as well. Okay? So the signatures have to be original signatures on the documents in each of the towns for them all to be valid. And that's signatures from the town officials as well as the people at Spectrum. But in the interim, we are operating on the old agreement until they're fully signed. Okay? And each individual town doesn't have to wait for all of the other ones to be valid. Okay.
So this includes the things that showed up in red in the Word document, so it's incorporated. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the document that you received was just so that you would have at least an idea of what was in there. And as I mentioned in the cover, that it was, there was still tweaking being done. Okay.
Thank you.
And that tweaking is all done. Okay. So do I have any more questions or statements or?
So I made a motion, is there a second?
This is a vote on acceptance and referral of the proposed agreement to the town selectmen.
This is acceptance of final agreement.
Right. I think that's on the...
It is.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we
Now,
will now
also-
we will transmit both in hard copy and electronically, because electronically will make it much easier for the towns to distribute amongst the selectmen and for anybody who wishes to have a copy, which occasionally people do actually ask for. They can produce it and they don't have to store stacks of paper and wonder where they put the paper.
This is the only hard copy completely, and the issue about sending electronically, it's no problem, I'll send this to Linda and she can send it out, is that the strand map is included and has to be inserted separately. So I'm assuming that when I send this all to Linda, which will be tonight, she will put the transmission letter on it and get it out the door.
Yeah, do you have all of the strand maps in there? All of the towns?
Yes, I will send those to you, and then you can handle it.
Okay.
So is it that you, if you copy and paste the image,
I
the
don't know how to
PDF?
do that, I couldn't do it.
Oh, okay, I do.
Okay.
Can you send, do you have those strand maps electronically?
Yes.
Okay, All right, so if you
So
send
I
them
will
to
send
me,
them
I
all
can
to you
copy
tonight, and
paste.
then you can put them with the transmission letter and send them forward.
Okay. Okay, so I have a motion that we'll be sending them to the towns, both in hard copy and electronically.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, okay. And if you would prefer not to get the hard copy, but just the electronic copy, I understand that for file purposes, because we got a lot of paper.
I would suggest that each of the reps give their
Both.
hard copy back to Linda, so it doesn't have to be printed again, and we are not asking the town to print their own copy. This could be signed right now, but I'll let the chair decide how she wants to handle it from here on in.
I can't sign it for the towns, nor can they. That has to be by a town officer.
I mean, do you want me to give this to our town administrator?
No, we have to, let's figure this all out, and I'll send that out in an email to everybody. Okay? We'll work it out. Okay, let's see what else we have on here. So we are in acceptance of the agreement to go to the towns, for each of the towns to sign off with our blessing.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, on that. New business. Do we have any new business?
The CTSB agreement,
Okay, that's,
unfortunately, it was not put on the agenda tonight, but we do have the
well,
final.
when CTSB had a report, you had the
The
opportunity to say
agreement
something.
that we have to finish negotiating with CTSB. That's not on here. We have all the feedback that we need from our legal counsel. We will need to have another meeting to accept that, and I hope that that would not wait until June.
We'll see if we can do that without a meeting, but individually signing off on it.
You can't do it without a meeting. I will let the committee know, other new business, that as soon as the CTSB agreement is finalized, I will submit my resignation on this committee. But I would hope that we would get the CTSB agreement done within the next couple of weeks, because we have all the legal feedback and there's no reason to delay it, and we have no contract with them other than the previous contract. And we do need to have a meeting to do this, or there will likely be an open meeting law violation. The committee cannot do a vote in an absentee fashion.
Well,
Sounds right.
let's get it set up first, and then we'll call a meeting, an emergency meeting, a separate meeting, and with proper notice. And fine, just so you know, Renee had said that she was going to be finished when we finished all this stuff to begin with. So this is nothing new to us here, who all worked on the thing,
You
on the
all
document.
worked very hard,
Okay.
and I appreciate all your work.
Okay.
I'm glad I wasn't on that committee.
Okay, other business. Any other new business? No? Okay. The other business, and this is for the viewing public. This committee, each town is entitled to 3 members for this committee. We don't have 3 members for each committee, from each town. We have, at this point, we have openings. Each town is entitled to 3 members. We have, in Great Barrington, we have 1 opening, although we haven't seen Tom's partner in quite a while. In Lee, we have 3 full openings. Lee is not represented on this committee. Lennox, there is one opening. Dennis and I are the other two. Sheffield, Renee is a member, and there are 2 additional openings there. And Stockbridge has 2 openings.
Isn't Michael Canales one of the members?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Michael he's the town administrator. Town administrators or town executives, either way, they can come to any of our committees and participate anytime they wish as part. But this is representatives who are not town officials, because town officials can't make as many meetings.
Right, okay.
Okay, so I just want to let people know, and volunteers are really a way of making sure that we have a quorum, because actually in a recent period, we had to forego a meeting because we did not have a quorum. Okay? Okay, so thank you about that, everybody. I hope you're going to join us. Next meeting date is June 11th, and it's at 6:30 in Stockbridge. And Anita, you have to make sure that a room is available for us for that meeting.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you. And that's all the business that I have here. Any other business? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I can do that after the adjournment, actually. A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, that's all we need.